Charlie, you're watching Burnout Radio. I'm here today with Steven Hickham from Hickham Motorsports.
Yes, sir.
You guys actually do Grand Am races, right?
Yes, sir.
With the 2007 Ford Mustang?
Yes,
right?
sir.
Good deal. Why don't you tell us about that? How'd you get into it? Actually, for starters, how did you get into it?
I've been racing since I was 6. Started with quarter midgets and then moved up to bandoleros and then eventually got into open wheel cars.
Well, what's a quarter midget and bandolero for those guys who are not into the
A quarter midget is pretty much basically a go-kart. It has a full roll cage though, it has seat belts, which a go-kart doesn't. It's a little bit slower.
It's a go-kart for safety.
Right.
Okay.
Pretty much. And they just do ovals, and that's it.
Okay.
But you hang out in the car like this the whole time.
Trying to get the weight on the wheel
Yeah.
so it turns. Okay.
And then a bandolero has a Briggs & Stratton engine in it, and you move up engines as you get going, as you get more experience. And those cars look pretty much, they're just funky looking. They look almost like a wedge. And then I moved up to a Legend, which has a 1200cc Yamaha motorcycle engine in it. And those on a 3/8 mile oval, we're averaging 113 miles an hour.
Now the Legends are the ones that look like the 1930s and 40s.
Right.
Right.
Almost like a Dwarf car, but with fenders.
Yeah.
And we raced on asphalt from those. And then whenever I turned 15, I started racing open wheel cars and Pro Formula Mazda, which looks like an Indy car.
So you're doing the Mazda spec stuff?
Right.
Did you
did
do any Mazda spec racing in addition to the open wheel?
No. I did one endurance race in a spec Miata whenever I just turned 16 to get my racing license, my true professional racing license.
Okay.
So did that, and then ever since then we've just got into the coast wheel cars about 2 years ago.
So how did you step up to the Grand Am?
Grand Am, that was really just an option for us. My dad just said, you know what, let's go try to get into endurance racing since open wheel is dying in the U.S. and Champ Car ended up merging with the IRL, and now they're one big league all over again.
Okay.
And so we ended up selling our cars right before the merge happened.
I know,
so
me too. Can't get any better timing than that. So what Grand Am races have you run?
I've ran the 24 Hours of Daytona, and I've run a NASA race, which is 25 Hours of Thunder Hill out in Northern California.
Okay.
And ran out there, and this past year in the Mustang, we did all that in the RX-8. And then this past year we got the Mustang, and we raced Daytona, did Miami, and then my dad had a back surgery. He had 6 back surgery, he had a bone disc.
Now your dad's your co-driver, right?
Right.
Okay.
So we both drive together and change out every 2 hours, and just every 2 hours we end up doing a driver change and keep going.
Now something you were telling me, I didn't realize that this has a basically a sealed up Roush motor sitting in front of it. Why does Roush do that?
Roush does that. They try to keep all the race cars spec, pretty much, or well, spec for a race car.
For a race car, yeah.
And they try to keep them all the same. So they try to put it all onto the driver. So the driver is the one that's really they're trying to show the experience of the driver.
Now you guys can still change things like tire settings, shocks, rebound, that kind of stuff, right?
We can change anything on the chassis, anything pretty much from camber to tire pressures, anything we want, we can change on the chassis. But
the motor and transmission,
chain, and the rear end.
And the rear end are all the same.
Not that much.
Okay. Now you were telling me that you have to rebuild the transmission after every race.
Pretty much. Yes.
So is this like a race built transmission, or is it just a stock Ford transmission?
Race built transmission.
Race built transmission. Okay, so it's not like a T5 or a T6.
It's a T56.
It's a T56.
But it's all fixed up for racing.
Okay. Well, you mentioned you've already run 24 hours a Daytona.
Right.
And you're 20 years old?
Yes.
I mean, Jesus, dude, that's a dream for most of us. You've already hit that at 20 years old. What are some other tracks you raced on?
I've raced everywhere. I've raced Laguna Seca. That's
my favorite track in the entire world.
That's where I had my best finish in an open wheel car. Best professional finish was there.
What'd you finish there?
7th.
7th?
Qualified 10th and qualified 9th and finished 7th. And then that was back in 07. And then ever since then,
Hey, what's up, man? It's all right. Give just a second. Well, after that brief interruption, we're back. So you've raced Laguna Seca.
Laguna Seca, there's a small track up in Oklahoma called Hallett, Texas Motor Speedway, in Dallas, Texas World Speedway up in College Station. Birmingham, there's a track out there. Sebring International Raceway, Daytona, Homestead. You know, we raced pretty much all those, and then we raced at Montreal with F1. We did a support race for F1. And
so, like now, as far as support race for F1, for those of you who don't know, when F1 comes to the track, it's expensive to set the track up.
Right.
So they actually run races ahead of time to go ahead and get rubber down on the track.
Right. Just like with these. We go to one of these races, and there's maybe 5 or 6 other classes of cars, different sanctioned groups of cars there, and we're the main event. Yeah. Or, you know, someone else will be the main event, and we're being a support race for them.
And it also helps sell tickets for the track as well.
Right.
So.
Right. Try to get people in the stands. Because our racing, a lot of people don't like it, because that's why everyone leans towards NASCAR, because you can sit there and you can watch the entire race. You can see everything on the track.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I like these because I look at this and I see a Mustang. And I know that this is a race-built Mustang. It's got, you know, scaffolding in the back, roll cage, all that good stuff. But someone who watches that race can go down and then buy a Mustang, or if they like the Porsche, they can go buy the Porsche, and then they can watch their car race on the weekends.
Right.
So for me, Grand Am is like one of the best races to watch.
Yeah.
So, but how long have you been racing Grand Am for? 2 years now?
Right.
Man, you guys, and you're going to race the next season as well.
Right.
In the Mustang?
Yes.
Good deal. And one other thing you're telling me is this thing fills and complete 23-gallon fuel cells in 25 seconds.
Yes, sir. 25 seconds.
Jesus, man, that's quick.
And we
So,
do a driver change in about 28 to 30 seconds.
So what's your average pit stop?
Average pit stop is just about 40 seconds.
About 40 seconds. How many guys do you have in the pit?
We have 5 that go over the wall, or well, 6 go over the wall, but only 5 can touch the car. The 6th one is just to help. He's the driver's aide. He's there to help us change out when we're doing the change.
But he can't do anything to the car.
Cannot touch the car. But we end up not using that 6th guy because we're on a limited budget.
Yeah.
So instead of paying an extra guy to come help, my dad and I, we just do the whole driver's
So like when you go, what kind of spare parts stuff do you carry? Because I know you can't carry a motor.
Actually, we do.
You do carry a motor?
We carry a motor, but Ford brings all of it. Ford brings it. We're sponsored by Ford Racing also. Okay. And they bring us factory support to every race. Okay. And we do that just for all the Mustangs. It's really cool because, you know, Porsche and BMW, they race with us also. But they don't have all the factory support. Ford actually, guys who built this car actually show up to the races. So it's really
that's really good information. You got the engineers and the building. So, but that's, you know, if you guys want to find out more about that, it's FordRacing.com. You get all kinds of information there. But so they bring extra motors, and also, but you bring your tires, any extra body work.
Right. Tires, body work, we bring 3 sets of wheels, and Hoosier brings all our tires, of course, and they bring 1, 2, 3 wheelers, full tires for the entire series. And we go through about, depending on how long the weekend is, we can usually last about maybe an hour to an hour and a half on a set of tires. But they'll last us about a half a week.
Now I noticed these are pretty stuck. These cars can run, right?
Those have to run.
Okay, so you wouldn't run something like that in a race, would you run stuff like that?
These actually are still good.
They're still good?
They're still good for a practice session. And we wouldn't start a race on them because
they wouldn't last long.
You know, a lot of people look at a tire and they say, well, there's not very much tire left. Well, actually there is. You know, what we look at really is heat cycles. You know, you look at a tire and you say, well, there's not very much tread left. Well, yeah, there's not very much tread left, but it's only has 1 heat cycle. It still has 2 more heat cycles.
Okay, so you get these tires up to temp 3 times before you got to get them.
Pretty much. You know, after you get a tire scrubbed in and get it warmed up 1 time, it never stops doing it. It'll always keep getting harder and harder and harder. So the harder the tire gets, the harder the
slicker. I appreciate you being on the show.
No problem.
You guys have a website?
We actually have a MySpace.
Okay, tell them what it is.
You can look us up on myspace.com/Hickham Motorsports, and also the Port Aransas Brewery.com. They should be getting some stuff of us on there pretty soon.
And you guys can find those links right there in the sidebar.